Would you mind going around with the next one, sir?
Sure. You'll notice that there are 2 left handprints among us. The others are right-handed, but this one right here is Kay Harris. And Kay Harris's contribution, you won't recognize him in any traditional wilderness therapy program as well, but he was also a field director for the 480 class at BYU. But he's done a lot of trips on rivers as a river guide with state kids and things like that, utilizing the river aspect of wilderness and utilizing metaphors and the whole teamwork approach as well. So that was his contribution, and was a very prominent face back in the early days of the BYU program. This is the late Keith Hooker. Keith Hooker is an MD, emergency room doc, and was the consulting physician for a lot of wilderness programs up until he passed away a few years ago. And so that was truly a loss for wilderness therapy, was when he passed away. We love him and we miss him. But anyway, he was always good for a laugh. Mm-hmm. Great attitude, very positive person to be around.
His motto, as far as I could tell, it was "People are hard to kill."
Especially him. He had 4 airplane accidents.
I know. I don't know if I get in an airplane with him.
Yeah.
I got a story I got to tell you about that.
This is Ken Stetler. Ken has worked with the Office of Licensing in the state of Utah, and was with that organization when there were some fatalities that happened back in the early days of wilderness. It's likely that wilderness may not be in existence today if he hadn't intervened and said, I think these programs add value. And by his voice saying that, he said we can adopt some regulations that will help prevent some of these tragedies. And so he has. And without question, those regulations have prevented a lot of tragedies over the years. So that's his contribution. We love and appreciate him, and he's a friend to wilderness. He no longer works for the state, but anyway, that's Ken Stetler. You might recognize this handprint from Wilson on the movie Castaway. Mm-hmm. Anyway, David Holliday. David Holliday has been a boss instructor for a long time, and he's helped train a lot of staff, and he's worked at a lot of wilderness therapy programs, Anasazi, Aspen, AYA. The Journey or Wilderness Academy back in the day. Mm-hmm. He's done some work for me here since I've been here. But anyway, David is a true friend to wilderness, and so we wanted to honor him for his insight, his skills, his ability to share. He's got a big heart, and so. He wants people to know what he knows, and so he's so willing to share that. Mm-hmm. So,
a few days that I spent with him down on Deer Creek blew my mind, and just changed everything that I thought I had learned.
Yeah.
And just opened up incredible possibilities.
Yeah, he's probably forgotten more about wilderness skills than I'll ever learn.
Yeah.
This is Karen Wells. Now, Karen has had about 30 years working in wilderness therapy, and she started back in the day and was one of the BYU students, and worked, of course, Larry's wife. But anyway, she her contribution in the chemical dependency realm, for young adults, is recognized for tenure alone, and in addition to the quality of service and care that she gave, for for a lot of families for a lot of years. This was me in 2012. It's my handprint. I'm left-handed because I'm left-handed. K's was in honor of a child of his that had passed away that was left-handed. So.
Well, tell me, it's okay. It's actually for posterity. Why were you honored here?
I've been around a long time, and I've tried to pour my heart into wilderness therapy. Like I explained to you my experience from the Overlook, that I had experienced that healing aspect, and so I tried to carry that light with me through my entire time in wilderness. And safety is, so passion and safety, I guess, if I could sum it up in 2 words, would be the 2 things that I was recognized for. Is that safety has always been an important aspect of what we do. We can absolutely do what we do and be safe about it. And so...
and Red Cliff's got the record for that, right? I mean, not like the record, but Red Cliff has a record of being a very safe program.
That's correct.
Yeah.
So it was an honor. It was a surprise for me. They told me they were filming something down here. I came out with my family. My family knew that it was happening. Anyway, and Clan of the Hand of Ben is a huge logistical process, and how my program did that around me without me knowing about it was a very special day. It was very overwhelming emotionally. It was good. I came down here, and David Westcott was here, and all the owners of the program, my family members. It was good. It was a good day. Anyway, it was truly an honor to be recognized and to be among these people, So and then this past fall, Maddie leaving, she came. Maddie was a therapist when I was in the field with the Wilderness Academy, and so she would come to the field. I remember her bringing trout that she would catch up at Fish Lake and wrap them in newspaper, and she would come and take a trout out to the kids that were on solo as she did therapy, and they would cook their little fish and have it. Anyway, that was one of my early memories of Maddie. She was quite an outdoors person and passionate about outdoors and wilderness therapy, but she also is a big contributor to have written the rules and regulations. And when you look at the accreditation, the AE accreditation, and she was on the committee that helped the OVH Council meet the AE accreditation criteria. So again, just the quality of individual that she is, and her contributions, and in the early days of wilderness therapy. She was likely the first licensed wilderness therapist that did therapy in a wilderness setting. So that's we wanted to recognize her.
Yeah.
Now we have a lot of blocks that are open for future inductees.
So can you just talk a little bit about the features of this Kiva and where the design came from? And
Sure. John Olson, who is also a boss instructor. If you've ever taken a pottery class from him, you'll know him. He's missing a finger on one hand. Anyway, truly skilled artist, particularly with napping, or a lot of hard skills really, but particularly the pottery. Truly an artist. Anyway, I was at his house shortly after I got the idea to honor these individuals. and he was digging a kiva with a shovel. And I got down and helped him, and we set the block and chinked the walls and everything, and that's where I got the idea to do this and have the kiva itself as the Hall of Fame, I guess, if you will, or the place to honor individuals. And so he gave me a book that had a picture of the Mesa Verde ruins, Kivas, and that's where I got the idea. Was from that book, and I took a picture out of that book, and I photographed the kiva that was in that picture was smaller than this one, and I knew we're bigger people, and we would have more people in here, so I made it bigger. But I tried to mimic and recreate that kiva, including these little niches right here. There's one over there as well. But the antechamber is to the south, and then the wall to honor the individuals begins on the north there.
And what's the purpose of the niches on the wall and the antechamber?
I'm not sure. The antechamber is typically a place of honor. Tobaccos, pipes, ceremonial dress, etc., things like that were discovered in that area. So.
And will you explain how the smoke hole works?
Yeah. Can we?
Because it's pretty interesting. I'll move around a little bit.
Yeah. So there's a vent hole that comes down behind that rock wall and then out here. So when there's fire in the pit, it goes up, and then there's smoke that goes up through the smoke hole, and then the fresh air comes in and hits this hearthstone and circulates around the room. That's the theory behind that.
Yeah. That's pretty design. How well does that work?
It doesn't.
No? Does it get smoky down there?
Yeah. The first clan of the hand over down here, the smoke just kept getting lower and lower and lower. And then after a while, we're talking across the room like this. It was interesting. But we figured out that we have to hang a deer hide down on this thing so the smoke will follow the deer hide.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Do some other things to help.
Yeah. All right.
Thanks for watching. Please like this video and subscribe. The Primitivus project is made possible by the generous sponsorship of Wingate Wilderness Therapy. To learn more, visit wingatewilderness.therapy.com.